This is FNGR, and today, for no good reason, we take a look at the semi-recent release Robocop. Now, some people like Movie Bob, a guy who has his head so far up nostalgia's ass, wouldn't know a good movie unless it had some 80s throwback in it, and would still piss and whine how it didn't measure up to the original. And he's right, the newest release is far less cartoony. Some of us have grown the fuck up over the years and are artistically sheltered manchilds who believe everything used to be better. No, the new Robocop doesn't twirl his gun around like a cowboy. That was adorable in 1987 when I was fucking 8. See, the biggest problem with that Robocop is it had that 1980s Jetson-esque feel for the future. And if we looked at that today as the future, it would feel, well, cartoony. The world didn't at least so blatantly sell its interests to private companies for defense. You couldn't repackage Robocop from 1987 without it looking fucking retarded. The cute idea of a stumble-bum Ed 209 that costs billions of dollars to make and utterly fails isn't believable today, no matter how cute you thought it was nearly 30 years ago. One of the better aspects of Robocop done right in this movie, which isn't just a Robocop problem, but is found in Aliens and Resident Evil, is the idea of Supercorp. Whether it's Umbrella, OCP, or Omnicorp, they are never challenged by the powers that be. Now granted, that was cute when I was 8. As I have aged, and what passes for the suspension of disbelief, or at least what I feel is tired and has to change for me personally, I'm tired of just accepting Supercorp's will be done for the duration of the movie. Omnicorp has to juggle with public opinion because it's trying to get its product of cyber tech approved for American use, even though it's allowed everywhere else in the world. The modern Ed 209, being this soulless, lifeless drone, is something the audience can identify with a lot easier than the 80s cynicism. The social commentary on the drones is a nice touch, as it's a topic that kind of makes us all feel a little uncomfortable, that we just prefer it work and not have to look at it. We get a new man-looking android in this movie, not found in the original, but because it looks scary, Omnicorp is unable to convince Americans that it's safe for American use. This is, after all, the whole point of a drone. We see terrorists going out of their way to die on the news as a means, presumably to oppose the occupation. Is it a bit overboard? Sadly, I can't tell you that. We have the information that the news media tells us about these matters. And that's kind of the dig. If we didn't have soldiers to come back and tell us, who in the world would? We get one of the best Samuel Jacksons ever, where he's shilling for his gun-loving employer, OCP, or whatever the hell it's called. Between this and Django, he might start to show he has some talent and make us forget all about snakes on a plane. Maybe. The only reason to skip something so notable, especially something so fun, is if you went into this movie and made up your mind to bury it and act like it had zero redeemable qualities. Alex Murphy is saddled with a male partner this time, and it really doesn't change anything for me. The original Robocop had a lack of emotion where the director felt the need to put a female sidekick to show the emotion that the lead simply couldn't. Alex Murphy at least at first has emotions and is horrified at what he's become. I seriously felt sick and saddened when they took off his robotic shell and showed him what was left of him as a human being. You took away everything. If you've ever seen the old black and white movie Johnny's Got His Gun, the movie that Metallica used for their one video, imagine that with a new splash of Hollywood paint. And that's what this Robocop offers. The movie is PG-13, but the emotional investment for me easily puts it into our territory. That is, unless you're an emotionally dead autistic critic, like, well, you get the idea. We get the disheartened feeling that Alex's wife feels when he returns and loses more and more of himself to the machine because of Omnicorp and whatever they're trying to iron out the flaws and make him more efficiently and surpass the trauma he has from his original accident. I'm sorry I skipped ahead, but I'm assuming most of you have seen the original Robocop and know that Murphy gets mangled in some form or fashion, or else we wouldn't have a movie. Murphy's in-action scenes are a ton of fun, and we get a fair amount of death. They time Murphy's slip with humanity perfectly. The main Omnicorp villain does overly get stupid in the end along the way. It's a joy to watch. There's lots of decadent emotions and violence to behold in Robocop. So till next time, don't ask why a field burns or a plague spreads for no good reason, and fuck Movie Bob.